So this was a year ago, and the assault was in 2012. My mom has always been blunt and really harsh at times. Growing up, she used to make me feel extremely insecure about my body. I was very fit and say things like F you or I hate you in regards to my body, so naturally we didn't have the best relationship growing up. Backstory. In 2011 over the summer I was sexually assaulted at my trailer park. Crap was horrible and I tried to ignore it. He worked for my stepdad up north, so the next summer he was there again. He then spent the week I was there trying to ask for forgiveness, and I, like an idiot, forgave him since I convinced myself it wasn't sexual assault, ignored me asking him to stop. Well, at the end of the week was a beach party, and he spent the night trying to get me drunk. I was 16, and he was 25, and he gave me a shot that I'm positive was drugged. He got me away from my friends, and I blacked out. All I remember after that is being bent over then running away crying. Long story short, my stepdad and mom found out a year later, since my counselor told them, and my stepdad got him fired and was very supportive. My mom on the other hand told me to let it go. Charges were never laid. Long story. This brings us to now. About a year ago my mom, husband, and I were going out. Stepdad and her got divorced, and ironically both him and the assaulter had the same name. She was drunk. We were driving to the bar, and she was angry at my stepdad for some reason. She decided to make a joke saying, you know, they don't know which it was, I can always just get him fired. My husband just stared at me in shock, and I kept my composure until we got there, and she got out. I started bawling my eyes out and eventually told my mom that was not okay to say. She brushed it off and got angry at me for getting mad at her and yelling. She has never apologized. I wish there was a happy ending to this story, but that's it. Backstory. I babysat a mute 7-year-old boy a few years ago when I was a teen. He is super sweet, but sometimes other kids don't like to be around him because of his surgery scars. He had surgery to help him breathe better, and his face is a bit misshapen. He loves to read and be read to. Characters: M. Entitled mother. NC. Nice child. Lines: librarian lady. MC. My child. Kid I babysit. And me. Duh. Story: I pick MC up from school and he asks to go to the library. He signs. We walk into the library and Lines greets us. MC is a frequent visitor. We walk to the kids section and he goes to look at some books while I secure us a beanbag. I see NC come up to him and start talking. MC promptly pulls out a mini boogie board and starts writing. I couldn't hear or see their conversation, but I could imagine the basics. A minute or so later I hear a blood-curdling scream. I look up, startled, to see a woman, jaw dropped, staring at MC and NC. Now, I've had a few situations happen like this before. Usually the parent takes their child away from MC. Nope, not this time. M approach MC and straight up tells him, this is a direct quote here, my son wants that. She points to the boogie board, so give it to him. A freak like you doesn't deserve it. I go up to her, and before I can utter a word she says disgusted, are you his mother? People like you. Please. Teen moms. At this point Lines walls over. This is what happens when Lines, excuse me mom, don't make. There is a heated argument between M and Lines. Lines asks me to call the police, and I do. Eventually once M calms down she realizes the police are on the way and grabs NC and runs out the door with him. Apparently M has been reported for a ton of other things like this. I take MC home who somehow is unfazed by all this. He starts enthusiastically signing, telling me about how he and NC like the same books and they talked about where they like to go and stuff like that, all while the M was having a tantrum. MC even taught NC how to spell his name in ASL. I guess the day ended okay, but I will never forget the rudeness of M. Note, this might sound exaggerated to some people, but honestly I live in a place where a-holes like this aren't that rare. Please remember to always encourage kindness. I had severe suicidal tendencies a while back, so of course I was admitted to a psych ward, which is in another town. I had my phone and received a call from my mother at random. She didn't know I was there, so I told her. She usually makes me feel like a turd, but she's my mother. A couple of days after I got home, which I didn't inform her about either, she calls me again. Mother, hey Miradana, I'm at another town. Would you like me to come by? Me, no thank you, I'm home again. Mother, oh, why didn't you tell me? I could have visited you before you got home. Me, I didn't really feel like talking with anyone then. Mother, oh, I have never seen how it is at a psych ward. I guess I should come quicker next time. Me, I want to get some rest. Can we talk at another time? Mother, okay. See you. So my mother didn't actually want to be there for me. She just wanted to see the psych ward as some tourist attraction like a zoo. I was fuming. I wasn't that surprised, as she has been like this all my life. I just wanted to write it out, as it helps my thought process. English is my second language, but I don't mind if anyone catches syntax spelling errors. This happened 2 days ago, so I'm still fuming, but one thing you should know is that I run a food pantry on the weekends. We are led by 7 teenagers, one of them being me, who are in charge of 7 different teams that cook, pack, and deliver about 4,000 pounds of food and goods to about 350 needy people every single week. I love running this pantry, and I sacrifice my weekends and social life. I literally haven't hung out with anyone in months, but that's okay, because I want to support my community. Now for the story. It's not gonna be in the normal format cause there's barely any dialogue. So our pantry works, where each family has a code that describes the zone they're in and the size of their family, and every week we have a new list of codes, because things are constantly being rezoned due to families getting jobs and losing jobs all the time. So last Sunday we really messed up, and we used the wrong list with the wrong codes, but it wasn't a big deal, because I made an announcement over the mic that if any runner, once the meals are made, we give it to teams to go run them and place them in their corresponding boxes. Each family has a box, had a code that didn't exist to bring it back to me, or leave it in a nearby box and the team leaders will come fix it. A lot of people brought back their meals and I relabeled them and apologized that we used the wrong list by accident, and it seemed to be going well until I started fixing the list so we don't use the wrong one again. That's when I realized that I never got the meals for P5 back. P5 was supposed to be T2. My first thought was, oh, maybe they left them in a nearby box and we missed it. So I sent someone to go through every box and check, and they never found it. So then my next thought was, oh, they might have left it in the storage shed. So I go out there and I lock eyes with a few teens and their mom, who for some reason panic and run to their car and drive off. I didn't realize at this time, so I'm like, okay then, nice to see you too. I check the storage cart and it's not there. I then check T2 to see if someone else just relabeled it, but it wasn't there. Then it hits me. The teen I gave P5 to just said, hey, my box doesn't exist. So instead of going back and getting it relabeled like everyone else, I'm just going to go home with all this food and just stole a family's worth of food from a food pantry, and I realized that's why the family ran. Luckily we had enough food to give to T2, but I had to use our extra food, which I always give to family C4, who I know is an unemployed single mother with 6 kids. So because these teens decided they wanted to be cool by stealing food from a food pantry, C4 couldn't get the extra food they usually get. Honestly, I'm just in shock. I knew people did bad things, but I didn't think anyone would stoop so low to steal from a charitable food pantry that gives meals to people that won't otherwise have any. It makes me question why I do it and whether I should continue being a leader in the pantry. I'm trying to give back to the community and the community steals and screws each other over. This happens a few months ago, on the 1 of May. Sorry for my bad English and German and doesn't get enough opportunities to write or speak it. Backstory. At the 1st of May, we Germans celebrate the Day of Work, where ironically nearly nobody works except for people in public or medical services. I'm a fully trained nurse myself, and this story happens when I was on my way to work. I live with my mum, my stepdad and his family, his mum and dad, his sister and her husband with 2 small kids, in a fairly big house. Everyone has their own flat, but we enjoy living together and have many family activities. Story time. Yay. M. Entitled mum. Brat. B. Awesome uncle. AU. Awesome aunt. AA. The 1st of May, as I explained above, we Germans celebrate the day of work. In some parts of Germany, there are big protests and such, but in the city here and around of my city, we come all together and drink, watch live concerts, eat and just have fun. There are still people that actually need to work, like poor nurse me, but crap happens. My family house is really near the place where these celebrations are held, so it's lucky when I do get free time. There are also other celebrations held, but the 1st of May was the day it happens, so it was just when I was ready to leave for work. I had much time to spare, but I'm a busy bee and like to be early at my workplace. Not thinking anything bad, I waved goodbye to my little step cousins that were waiting for their parents to go to the celebrations and close the front door. Walking to my car that was parked in our driveway, I thought about was ahead of me for my day. I'm a trained nurse, and even if it was a holiday, it could get stressfully. Just as I was about unlocking my car, I saw another car pulling up at our driveway. I didn't really think about it. Maybe the person on the car just wanted to drive a bit in, so he could more easily turn around. The parking spots on my street were already full and crowded, as the celebrations were at the time on full. But the person stopped in the middle of the driveway, making it impossible to move my little car past them. At this point, I should have guessed what happens next, but my brain didn't register fully what happened. Maybe because I was thinking of my work day ahead, or because I'm sometimes a bit dumb. The people shut down their car and left it. A woman and her 2 kids. I guess they were in their teens, but I'm crap in age guessing. They left the car and walked in the direction of the festival. That made me a little confused, cause you could clearly see that the driveway belonged to our house, and this makes it private property. So I called them out. Not only once, not twice, no 3 times. Maybe they didn't hear me, or they didn't want to. I was giving them benefit of the doubt. Me. Excuse me? Hello. Please stop. You can't park here. After finally turning around after my slightly confused calling, why can't I park here? The other spots are full, and that's the only free place. Me. Cause this is private property. I know. We live here. That my house. It's not a problem. B. Yeah, we live here. That my room up there, pointing at the flat of my step grandma and granddad. Me. No, I think so. At this point, B and the other kid look at me annoyed. I don't know why, but they did, and the M walked closer to me with a slightly pissed smile. Oh, of course. How would you know it? I lived there for 3 years now. That my house, and my kids live there with me. Are you saying I'm lying? At this point, I started to get a bit pissed. I lived there with my family the last 10 years. When my mum and I moved in, I was 15, and we still live there. Clearly the woman had seen me getting to my car that was in the driveway. Me. Yeah, I do. Cause I live there with my parents and my aunt and uncle and my grandparents. Unless I gained overnight a new aunt I didn't knew about. You don't live here. Could you move your car? I need to go to work and at this point, M goes up to my face as if I called her and her bloodline some bad name and starts screaming in my face. You are lying. That is my house. I live here. You can't tell me where I park in my driveway. Why are you parking here? I'm gonna call the cops. As she rants on and on how I don't belong here. My AA and AU come out with their kids. AU. What's going on? Op. AA. Is everything alright? Who is this woman? I give them both a quick summary of what the woman told me, and they both look at each other a bit confused. AU. We live here with my in-laws and Op's mum and dad. AU. Who are you? Get your car away. Looking embarrassed and clearly lost, tried to find another excuse why she was allowed to park there, even going so far as trying to make us believe she can park there because my parents allowed it. They would have told me or my AA and AU. But in the end, they gave up, stormed with the 2 kids in tow back to her car. B gave us the finger, which I gave back, and drove off. Funny thing is, if she just asked if she could park there and let me go to work, I would have let her. I know how hard it is to find a parking spot at such days, but being a liar and shouting didn't make it better. Thank you for reading, and sorry that's semi-long I guess. Thank you for watching. Slap that like button and comment your opinion on these stories below. I'm waiting. Write that comment. Seriously. Have you written it yet? If you don't comment, you make a bunny cry somewhere. You're not that kind of person, I know. Anyways, peace out, and catch you tomorrow.